Modernity can often be thought of as a closed period in time, but we're living in modernity now. Modernity is described as being modern or a modern way of thinking and working. Part of being modern and working in a modern way is human intervention to prolong life and body. This quote highlights an interesting area of study within modernity and the concept of the body in a pre-Enlightenment era. Modernity caused a rupture in society by bringing about significant changes rapidly, including a shift away from religious authority, therefore disturbing the previous order rules and religion had control over. A large part of this is how society thinks about the body and the restrictions around it. One particular historical fictional piece of media that talks a lot to modernity and the concept of the body and life within this is Frankenstein. Frankenstein is a 1931 science fiction horror film directed by James Whale. The film was adapted from Mary Shelley's book of the same title. The story follows a scientist on his quest to create a new life form by digging up recently laid corpses and stitching them together, creating a new kind of being.
He's just resting, waiting for a new life to come.
Although the film is set somewhere in the 18th century, the themes around body explored through both fear and desire can be linked to the present day. These subjects include fear of death itself and fears instilled by religion. Religion is established as a key theme early in the film, where the audience are transported to a graveyard to see a funeral being held. Large headstones in the shape of crosses tower over the funeral goers, demonstrating the dead's strong connection to their religion and Christianity. These crosses represent the deceased's beliefs that when they died, their body would decay in the ground and their immortal soul would be returned to God, who would decide if they were condemned to live eternity in heaven or hell. In this film, the scientist, Frankenstein, has tried to come up with a solution to this fear of death and the fear of hell instilled by religion. Frankenstein's creation represents the scientific enlightenment, replacing the overpowering control religion held over people during their death. He creates a body which is free from the traditional way of thinking about the body. This is represented in the film through the work he does in his lab, resulting in the monster coming to life, contrasting the scenes from the graveyard with strong religious undertones. Another key element highlighted in the film is the fear of scientific creations. Later in the film, we see Frankenstein's monster accidentally drown Maria, a primary school-age character who initiated play with the monster. This scene starts off innocent, with the monster engaging in Maria's game, but takes a lethal turn when the monster fails to understand the consequences of its actions. This reinforces the fear that scientific advancement resulting in the safety of other people being compromised. In conclusion, Frankenstein tells us about modernity through what it represents with the creation of the monster and how other characters react to it. These fears are comparable to how society feels about death in science now, and Frankenstein has since been used as a metaphor to describe other scientific advancements, like IVF, which also creates life, gender transitioning to change the body, and even inanimate objects like modified fruit or plants being described as Frankenstein. All in all, it shows us the power of scientific enlightenment around the material body and how this has evolved through modernity.